Hey everybody, and welcome. Today we are here in Shelbyville, Kentucky, and we're getting ready to take you guys along with us to
Claudia Sanders Dinner House.
Claudia Sanders Dinner House. Woo!
So the Claudia Sanders Dinner House used to be the corporate headquarters for Kentucky Fried Chicken, and Claudia Sanders started her own recipe of chicken here in the 60s. It is completely separate from the famous 11 herbs and spices that Colonel Harland Sanders has created. This is the former home of Colonel Harland Sanders and Claudia Sanders. It's a little kitty cat right before you go in. And right here is a picture of Colonel Harland Sanders. Looks like it's signed. It was signed back in 1974. And right there is a picture of Claudia Sanders, Harland Sanders' wife. Claudia Sanders Dinner House was voted Best of the South in 2002 by Southern Living magazine. Here is the buffet spread here. Right here we have some cabbage, peas, lima beans, mixed vegetables. Here's some corn, green beans, mashed potatoes. Right here we have fried apples, gravy. I'm not sure if those are meatballs or maybe beets. I'll let you know here. I think they're beets. I can kind of see the beet juice now. I'm not certain what that is, but I will update you here. Looks like some spinach dip. Right here, some creamed corn. Right down here we have some macaroni with baked beans, shredded chicken. Right here we have some chicken pot pie, and then of course the famous Claudia's fried chicken. Right down here we have some prime rib. Salad bar here with all of the toppings. Got some broccoli, onions, there's some potato salad, dressing, eggs. Got some peaches down here.
So I got me some chicken, and then they brought rolls out that smell really, really good. There is some barbecue chicken, some chicken pot pie. Some, I think these are candied beets because I kind of tasted the sauce a little bit. It's kind of got a glaze rather than pickle. And then there is some steamed vegetables, lima beans, and I think this is stewed tomatoes. They look like dumplings that they made for them, which is, I'm really excited to try that. And then some fried cabbage, and this actually had some pork in there too. And mashed potatoes, and I think this is either cream spinach or spinach dip.
All right, looks good. And I ended up getting some of the famous Claudia's chicken. Oh, thank you, Henry. And then I got some chicken pot pie, cream corn, macaroni. And then over here, I tried to get just a spoonful of each, but you kind of see how that turned out. Some mixed vegetables, some peas, also green beans, mashed potatoes, cream corn, beets, regular corn, fried apples, stewed tomatoes. We got the whole 9 yards right here, guys. All right, Henry's already been digging into the chicken. How is it, buddy?
It's good. And I want to point out I got a big chicken under here.
Big chicken leg there, right? You got some beets and some good old stuff. Gentry, what do you think about your meal so far?
It's really good.
Looks like you got some green beans, and corn, chicken. Have you tried the chicken yet?
No, but I will.
What's your favorite thing so far?
Probably the macaroni.
So I've tried a little bit of everything on my plate, and everything is just amazing. The mashed potatoes, they're so good, they don't even need gravy. And the fried cabbage, it's so good too. Reminds you of something you'd cook at home, you know, on a Sunday or something.
Right, Jennifer, tell us what you think about the chicken.
It's really, really delicious. It tastes like what you would remember at home, like your mama or your grandmother making. It's like that. It's not too salty. It's like a homemade batter, not too battered. The chicken is juicy and tender. So good. It reminds you of a Sunday supper.
All right, guys, first bite of Claudia's fried chicken. Here we go. All right, I'll tell you what this tastes like. In Hillsboro, Ohio, they used to have a restaurant called the Wooden Spoon. It tastes almost identical to the same seasoning that they used. As far as the sides, my favorite so far is the mixed vegetables. Whatever they season those mixed vegetables in, excellent. And then, I don't know. I kind of like the beets. The beets are really good as well. But I've also tried the chicken pot pie. I don't even know if that's a side. But the chicken pot pie is good. Everything so far that we've dove into is just excellent. And that's all we've talked about here for the last couple of minutes. It's almost like on Thanksgiving Day where everybody brings their A-game recipe and they're all coming over. All of these sides are like the A-game recipe at Thanksgiving. So good. I just want to emphasize how juicy this chicken is. I hope you can see that on camera. So juicy, so tender, so incredibly delicious. The beets are very sweet, very tender. And when it comes to the chicken pot pie, there's an even balance of vegetables, also chicken, again, very tender, very juicy. And the corn, it's almost like it's pre-buttered. There's just a little hint of butter, not too overpowering. The seasoning on the mixed vegetables is wonderful. Stewed tomatoes, again, sweet and delicious. It is a great, great recipe. Then over here, the fried apples, just the perfect balance of cinnamon. And I will say that it's not too overpowering, but also not too light on the cinnamon. Just a perfect, wonderful balance. Thing so far, Gentry?
Green beans.
Green beans. All right. And what's your... Oh, you got a mouthful. I'll come back.
It's good. I like the biscuit. And I like chicken. And top favorites, I don't even can eat this all. But I would have to say it's good.
So the stewed tomatoes, the bread that they put in there, it's not too soggy. It's just got the perfect bite. And I love these horse paintings. And they have horse paintings all throughout the restaurant here, or pictures of walking horses.
So I love the vegetable selection here. I love vegetables. So I was really excited to see a lot of variety on that. I just tried the fried apples for the first time, and they're really good. They're not too sweet. They're like the kind that you would, again, make at home, and just very simple with some, your sugar, your maybe some lemon juice and some cinnamon, and just boil your apples, and voila, you've got a really nice side there. And then the corn casserole is really good too. Reminds me, Brent's family in Ohio, they make corn casserole. Or is that what it's called? Corn pudding?
Corn pudding.
Corn pudding, yes. Brent's family makes corn pudding, and it tastes very similar to this.
Jennifer's going in for her first bite of the derby pie. All right, guys, there is the bread pudding for dessert. And Jennifer ended up getting, what'd you get there, Jennifer?
Kentucky Derby pie.
Kentucky Derby pie. And the boys are eating Kentucky Derby pie as well as bread pudding. They also had, I believe, cherry cobbler as an option as well.
So I just tried my first bite of the derby pie, and this one is actually served cool, and I really like it better that way. I've always had it warm, but I like it cold. It's very tasty and got a lot of chocolate, like Gentry said, and those candied nuts are really good too. All right, Brett, what did you get?
I got the bread pudding. I'm gonna go ahead and dive in for my first piece, sop it up, and this little sauce. So this bread pudding is very delicious. It's very hot, but you can see the raisins. It's got a good sweet texture. And this is like a vanilla butter sauce. So sweet, so delicious. Didn't think we had room for dessert, but I always have room for a couple of bites of something as delicious as this. Gentry, how's the derby pie?
Very chocolatey and good.
And Henry, how's the bread pudding, buddy?
Good.
All right, guys, final bill here for Claudia's Dinner House. 2 adult Sunday buffets were $47.98 for both. 1 kids buffet was $11.99. I guess they didn't charge us for Henry. After tax, but before tip, came out to a total of $63.57. And just behind Claudia Sanders Dinner House is the former home of Colonel Harland Sanders and Claudia Sanders. In the 60s, they moved into this residence. And back here, which is known as Woodward Hall, is where the corporate headquarters used to be for KFC, otherwise known as Kentucky Fried Chicken. That was Claudia Sanders Dinner House. Henry, what'd you think about Claudia Sanders Dinner House?
It was good. And I wanted to point out, in the 90s, someone worked here.
In the 1960s, Colonel Sanders, the guy who created Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, he lived here. What'd you think about your dinner?
It was good, and usually the dad had macaroni.
And you loved it, didn't you?
Yeah, but I didn't eat macaroni instead. Then,
You had mashed potatoes instead.
yeah.
All right, and Gentry.
I gotta say, this place is very cool and good. And the chicken, you gotta try the chicken. It's so good.
And Jennifer.
I loved everything about this place. I loved that there was a variety of vegetables to try. They were all really delicious. My favorite was the fried cabbage, and I think the stewed tomatoes and the mashed potatoes. Those were all my favorites. The chicken was very good and juicy, not salty, just perfect. Just reminded you of something that, you know, you remember from your home cooking from your childhood, and cooking the vegetables out of the garden and everything. It just, you know, reminded me of that growing up. And then those rolls, they were so good. They were a really good yeast roll, and again, homemade, something like, you know, I have a second cousin, Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca. She makes those for all of our family get-togethers, and they're delicious, and that just brought me right back to family get-togethers. So really love this place.
Date, this has been one of my favorite country down-home cooking buffets that we have tried since we've started this channel. Like I said earlier, it's almost like Thanksgiving dinner where everyone comes together, and your aunt and your cousins, they're all bringing over the best of the best, the recipe that they have perfected for years, and it's all being brought to your table. It was just so good. Want to give a shout out to our server, Shantae. Big shout out to her. We got sweet tea, and she even brought out some extra cups with ice because she said it was a fresh pitcher of sweet tea, and you know, it comes out a little warm sometimes, so it may melt the ice a little, so she brought out separate cups of ice. Just very accommodating, very kind, and all the questions, sweet tea alert. So shout out to Shantae. And again, the food here is amazing. It's about approximately 25-30 minutes east of Louisville, and when we come back through Louisville, which we do quite often, we're going to come back here again. It was outstanding, well worth the small drive from Louisville to come out here to Shelbyville. Hey guys, we thank you so much for joining us here in Shelbyville, Kentucky at Claudia Sanders Dinner House, and we sure do look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Every Day is Saturday.
Woo!